For all your TCG needs, make sure to check out sabatcg.com. What's poppin', everybody? It's a Saber Fighting 4. Today, I'm going to be talking about what a 30th anniversary TCG set would look like for the Pokemon TCG. The big talk right now is for the 30th anniversary. We're going to get whatever we're going to get in September. And I thought I'd make this kind of dream set and talk about how Pokemon should go about reprinting cards and what a 30th anniversary set would look like. So I got this article on my website. You can check out the little details if you like. And I'll have a video link over here too to just sort of link everything together. But I put this article about a week ago, a couple of days ago, I don't remember. And I put out this set. Now, if you look at some of the cards, you might realize a bunch of these cards were in the 25th anniversary, the celebration set. And that's because this is where the idea sort of comes from. When Pokemon did the 25th anniversary, the celebration set a bunch of years ago, it was a great idea. Just an opportunity to reprint a bunch of old school cards. But the set was really small, only 25 cards actually getting reprinted from the old school stuff. And a lot of cards too were not even old school, like they would reprint stuff that back then wasn't that old, like Mewtwo EX or, the EX and GX Pokemon from, Gen 6, Gen 7, these types of cards. And I made a sort of custom celebration set back then, offline, and I might have made a video, but I ended up didn't doing anything. But today, I got the set up. This is what a dream anniversary set will look like. And I'm going to explain why I chose some of the cards that I've chosen. So just making sure everybody understands this is not a real set. This is just a set that I made. What would look good as an anniversary set, reprint set. Because that's what they should be doing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Does this all the time, reprinting old school cards and just reprinting cards in general. And Pokemon, they never reprint anything. The celebration set was really one of the only times they did something like that. Okay, so we got the starters. This is kind of a standard, the classics. Basic Charizard, basic Blastoise, and then Venusaur. Gotta have these guys. And then you gotta have the Professor Oak, just trainer cards, representation from back then too. This was a card that let you draw 7 cards, but it's not a supporter card, so you could play 4 of these in a turn and then deck yourself out. So just putting it here for representation, old school trainer. And I chose the base set counterparts, the base set 2 counterparts, because I like the bubble holofoil better. Okay, then we got Dark Gyarados. Once again, this represents the dark Pokemon, and this wasn't the celebration set, so I just kept it in. I kept a lot of the foundations from the celebration set, a lot of cards I kept. It's the foundation for this type of set. But with the 30th anniversary, they should, release maybe different new cards that weren't in the celebration set. Then I got the Brock and Misty trainer cards. These are beautiful holographic cards with Ken Sugimori artwork, and this is something that, again, that should have been cards that should have been in the original celebration set. You represent the sort of gym series cards this way with these trainer cards featuring trainers. We have different trainer cards for all of the Kanto gym leaders, but I decided to include Brock and Misty because they're kind of like, the OG duo with Ash Ketchum, face of the anime. First 2 gym leaders, so went ahead and did that. Then keeping the Rocket Zapdos in too. This represents the Team Rocket Pokemon. You got the Team Rocket grunt right here, Rocket in the text. This was another card in the celebration set, so including it. And then we move on to the Neo sets now, Gen 2 stuff, and you gotta have this Lugia card. They did that celebration set. This is the type of card that you gotta have, man, reprinted. Extremely expensive and iconic card. Very, very beautiful artwork, very beautiful holofoil. Sought after card. I know that many people would kill to have this card in nearly any condition in their collection, but then most of us missed out on it. And, a good reprint, of this card, of course, it's not going to look exactly the same as the original, but it's a reprint with aesthetic differences. That's the point of a reprint set. So you got to have it. Way too iconic from the Neo Genesis set. Top card. Same for the Cleffa. I'm including this card because, again, it's, Neo Genesis, iconic, competitive. So to represent that sort of era, you got to have cards like this. And Cleffa is a good pick to have. Very, very significant card from the era. And then I got the Ho-Ho. So this is a very iconic and sought after card as well. Not as much as Lugia, but it's Ho-Ho. And I didn't like what they did in Celebrations, where they would include, one legendary counterpart from the game series and not the other. They did this with Groudon and Kyogre. And I understand why they did it. It's because this guy won the World Championship 2004, and it was the first, big tournament held by Nintendo when Nintendo took over the Pokemon TCG from Wizards. But still, if you gotta include this card, you gotta include Kyogre too. But anyway, that's the idea with Ho-Ho too. If I'm gonna include Lugia, you gotta have the Ho-Ho. Also, there's a Pokemon that has, 3 attacks. I think that was one of the first times we saw this, or it might have been the first time actually. So there is a lot of iconicity and trivia with this card too. The artwork isn't the best, I want to say. I think a lot of people like it. It's good enough, but Lugia does look better. And I say this as somebody that likes Ho-Ho as much as Lugia, if not more. But anyway. Then we got the Shining Magikarp. I guess in this set, with 30th anniversary, if they do something like this, they should include maybe Gyarados. But Magikarp was in the Celebration set, so I'm including it. Represents the shining Pokemon, shiny Pokemon. Can only have one of this type of card in your deck. Like the A-Spec, you could say. So gotta have this guy. And then we gotta have a light Pokemon. I chose light Azumarill because, the whole thing with Marill, Pika-Blue, if you guys know, OGs know, Gen 2 is gonna come out. Marill, before we even called it Marill and people were calling it Pika-Blue, it was like the mascot, mysterious Pokemon. It's that sort of thing. Linked to Maryland too, it's sort of that representation. But basically, I needed a light Pokemon to include, and then I thought, let's just do light Azumarill. But the light Pokemon, another part of, the Gen 2 era of cards, they didn't include anything like this in the Celebration set. They should have. So, yeah. Include this card. And then we got the Memory Berry too. I wanted to include some trainer cards. The E series is when we got, Pokemon supporter cards. Instead of just everything being trainer, you had supporter cards, Pokemon tools. Or did we, I think, maybe in Gen 2 we got tools, but we got the actual supporter cards. I couldn't really find any supporter cards that really spoke to me to include here. You got some good stuff, but I'm including some cards from Aquapolis. I'm including this Kingdra, so I decided I'm just going to do the Memory Berry Pokemon tool. And this is a card that's been reprinted a bunch of times in Gen 2 and in Gen 3 and Gen 4, and then they kind of forgot about it. Your Pokemon pre-evolution can use pre-evolution's attacks. Okay, so I'm including it. Then I'm doing Kingdra. This is to represent, the crystal Pokemon with the crystal type Pokebody. There's a bunch of these Pokemon, but I decided I'm going to do Kingdra, looks good from Aquapolis. And I don't remember, did I actually check them out and this was one of the better ones too in terms of the attacks? I don't think so, but you never know. But yeah, Kingdra, Gen 2 Pokemon evolution, including it. And that's it for Gen 2. Then we move on to Gen 3. I'm going to have a lot of cards here. There's going to be some bias, but, got to represent a holographic Ken Sugimori artwork here. Just your basic holo from, Gen 3. Went with Gardevoir from the first set. I think a lot of people would be satisfied with this. And then, of course, got to include for the EXs, the Rayquaza EX. This is an extremely expensive card. I got a copy, in mint condition that I bought way too many years ago, and I'm glad I did. But now it's like, these cards are so expensive, you don't even want to play with it. Like, you just want to keep it in the album. I don't know, maybe it's a waste still, but who knows. The thing is a very iconic card, competitive card from back then, used with Blaziken. You know, this Pokemon can get one-hit KOs and anything. So, gotta include it in my opinion. Great reprint for those that want to get this. And then we got Team Magma and Team Aqua Pokemon. Again, very unique cards just from that time. They included Team Magma's Groudon in the Celebration set, but they didn't do Kyogre. So you gotta do both of them, if you ask me. Definitely. These were good cards too, in terms of, you know, stats. 100 HP basic Pokemon. You needed a full field for, or nearly a full field for Team Aqua or Team Magma Pokemon for these cards to attack. But they were solid. I mean, Groudon, people are going to say it's better than Kyogre, but you could make a deck with Kyogre too, technically. If you check Klaczynski's WordPress page, I'm pretty sure he must have a deck or something. Anyway, then for, you know, trainer cards and, you know, supporter cards, you got to have Steven's advice. I picked the Hidden Legends print too, the original for the errata. Represent Gen 3, you know, Steven Stone, the champion, important character in general. And this was an amazing supporter card too. Still my favorite supporter card to this day. Gotta have it, 100%. Should have done this more, but they didn't do that in Celebrations either. I mean, with 25 cards though, what do you expect? Not much of a set. They did have Rocket's Admin, which I'm still including here because it's very iconic competitively. Once again, the original N and Iono. You know, draw, disruption. It's got the whole package depending on the time of the game. Very important card. So keeping it in. It was actually a good reprint at the time because this card was very expensive. And with the Celebrations print, the prices went down. If you wanted to get the original supporter card for this, it was way too expensive for just an uncommon. I remember at some point I was seeing it at like 15 euros, maybe even 20 euros a piece. Anyway, and now I think it's never going to be that expensive again. The Celebrations made sure prices went down. And it got reprinted in like the whatever other collection thing, overpriced. Anyway. And then we got Jirachi once again. You gotta have a Pokemon like this to represent the era. Very, very good reprint. I mean, the idea with a set like this is if you want to play retro formats, you get cards that can help you out in building your decks. Okay, significant cards. Like this would be a significant card. Support Pokemon with Wish and Star, helping you set up. Great opening Pokemon in Gen 3, if not the best. Gotta have a card like this from EX Deoxys. Attack could have been handy too against Pokemon with Pokebodies. Then we got the Battle Frontier, you know, represent the Gen 3 once again. Iconic stadium, iconic card, and just an iconic theme, the Battle Frontier from Emerald. Each player's evolved colorless Pokemon, darkness Pokemon, and metal Pokemon have no Poke Powers or Poke Bodies. Yeah, pretty significant. Got to include a stadium, so that's why I'm thinking I want to do this instead of doing something from Gen 2. Not too many stadiums that would stand out, in my opinion. But then this, definitely great. Okay. And then we got another EX. Gotta have an EX that's not the e-reader style, you know, with the thicker border here for the e-reader EXs. This is a EX from Unseen Forces, and I decided to pick on Tyranitar because this guy has 4 attacks. So once again, you get some interesting trivia with these types of Pokemon. The first Pokemon to have 4 attacks was, I think, Exploud from Hidden Legends. But this is just, you know, Tyranitar, it'd be the more popular pick, and EX, it just accomplishes more stuff. You'd want to have this, right, as opposed to an Exploud. But yeah, 160 HP, 4 attacks, Fighting Darkness. Tyranitar, super cool, beautiful holographic card. Pretty good pick, I want to say. And then we gotta represent the Delta Species aspect of Gen 3. You gotta have the Holland Transceiver here. It'd be a great reprint too, because this is an expensive as hell card too. I don't know how expensive it is now, but when I was buying these, I was paying 8 euros a piece for this type of card. If not more. Like I think I paid €11 for one. I don't remember. I mean, but you got to get these from a bunch of different sellers if you're going to get from Cart Market. Nobody's going to have a playset, more than likely. So yeah, I got myself a playset, but I paid a lot. And this is just an uncommon card, like Rocket's Admin. Gotta have it though in this reprint set. And then I decided to include the Meta Knight duo, Dragon Knight and Metagross to represent powerful Delta Species deck for the era. These Pokemon working together. Lightning, Metal Pokemon. Gather energies with Dragonite, and then Metagross could kill anything. You could draw cards with Delta Control. Got all the Delta Species support. Good shit. And then, it wouldn't be an anniversary set and kind of a special set if you don't include everybody's favorite evolutions, including me or mine. I like the evolutions too, so I decided, fuck it, I'm just going to do more Delta Species and do the Delta Species evolutions. Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon. These would be very expensive cards too today. I don't think anybody would be disappointed to have these cards in a reprint set. And they kind of, they got the same first attack too, so they got this sort of a, group theme going. You don't always get this with evolutions, so I'm thinking, these cards, they make sense to put in here. They're also Delta Species Pokemon, so you get more Delta Species Pokemon. I wanted to include a pure Delta Species Pokemon, but I didn't exactly get the chance to do that. I gotta leave space for other cards too. But yeah, the evolutions. And then the new EX for the last EX. This was in the Celebration set too. And yeah, kept it in. Again, based on Celebrations. New EX. And then we got the Gold Star evolutions in the Celebrations. Once again, they had Umbreon Gold Star, but they didn't have Espeon. And again, I thought that was bullshit. If you're going to have one, you're going to have the other. I understand that maybe Umbreon is the most popular one between the two. I don't know why. I guess maybe because Umbreon is a more popular Pokemon. But in terms of rarity, both of them would be in the same league. They're both from the same pop set, Pop 5. And in Japan, you get them from the... it was a special... You collected points through an event, and then you could get these... I don't remember. I talked about this a while ago in a video. My Espeon TCG overview video. But yeah, either in Japanese or in English, these cards are very expensive. Umbreon, now you got the Gold Star reprint in Celebrations, but this doesn't have any reprints, so it would technically be the more valuable card now. Gotta have these. And then the last Gen 3 card, I decided to go with Holland's Cast Form. This is to represent the Holland energy, yeah. These sort of energy, well, not Holland energy, but these types of Pokemon that could work as special energies. Cast Form, it kind of stands out on its own. I could have included Voltorb or Electrode or Magnemite or Magneton, but then, you include one, you don't include the other. Why would you do that? Cast Form, it's kind of his own dude. And it was technically the best special energy Pokemon, so we include the Holland's Cast Form here. And I'm not gonna lie, I never in all my life ever thought that Cast Form's, front here is balls or ass or whatever, until I saw that Jay Witt's video. And then as soon as I saw that and he talked about it, yeah, now I always notice it. Whatever. Now we go on to Gen 4, also one of my favorites. And then you gotta have, for a regular holographic Pokemon, this Lucario from the first set. The Diamond and Pearl rare holos from the first set, they're just the most beautiful, I think. I don't know what it is about them. Maybe it's the Kensuke Mori artwork. I don't know what it is, but they look extremely beautiful. And this card is no exception. And, it's Lucario. It's the sort of mascot in DP in a way, Gen 4. They had this guy in the Mystery Dungeon games of Gen 3 to sort of, tease the new gen, do stuff like that. And this was a solid card back then, too, for a little bit. I mean, do 60 for 2 total damage, 40 and then 20 on the bench. First attack is also solid. HP is solid for a stage 1. It was a decent Pokemon. And then you got the time-space distortion. So this is kind of unique. A lot of the DP sets, they had this sort of the top cards. They were like the secret rare kind of, acted like level X cards. The first couple of sets with the level X cards, you would only get maybe one level X per box, if that. But time-space distortion is unique. It's kind of the most rare card from Mysterious Treasures, but it's not a level X. It's a trainer card and a secret rare. So I don't think there was any other card like this in the era. And it's a way to represent the Pixie Trio from DP2. So I decided to have it. It's a difficult card to get in general, so it'd be a good reprint. Good thing to get for people's collections. The effect is solid too. If you get a bunch of heads, you flip 3 coins for each head, so you search your discard pile for a Pokemon, and then you can put it into your hand. So it can be basically a freaking Pokemon Rescue times 3 or times 2 or even times 1. Pretty good card if you ask me. You know, you flip 3 coins, even if you get 1 heads, odds are with you. You're gonna get at least 1. So it's gonna act like a Pokemon Rescue, an expensive Pokemon Rescue. You can get level X's too. Really amazing card. You know, pretty secret rare, unique card printed in the era. Makes for a good reprint here. And then Claydol, this was included in the Celebration set. I keep it here because, you know, it was a good pick for them to include this. Good way to get Claydol's, making it more accessible. And it was a very important card in the DP era. Nearly all decks ran this because it's your most reliable way to draw cards. We didn't have busted supporter cards like now in DP. You know, you had to rely on Poker Power draw and like Uxie draw. Okay, keeping it in. And then Cynthia's Feelings, again, similar to Steven. This card represents, you know, a character to represent Gen 4, Cynthia, the champion, important character from the story. And this was a great supporter card too. If your opponent kills a Pokemon, you can shuffle and draw 8. Good artwork. It's actually the original Cynthia card. This is like the original Steven card. So, you know, I think it's a great card to have here to represent, once again, DP, represent Cynthia. Shouldn't be a difficult card to get, I think, but, you know, it has a bunch of low print prints in Gen 4. It was in theme decks too, but I think you gotta have it. I mean, you can't just have the expensive ass cards. The set needs to have a sort of theme. It's gotta have some kind of structure too. Okay. Then I got this Duskull here. This is to represent the shiny reverse Pokemon from reverse holo shinies from Gen 4. You know, different type of shiny Pokemon compared to, you know, Magikarp and the Gen 2 shinies. But we had a bunch of these in Gen 4. They were pretty rare as well. I think they're expensive now, but they're not on the level of, you know, the really old Wizard shiny Pokemon. Maybe they'll get there. But yeah, I decided to do Duskull because it's from Stormfront. It looks cool, you know, the red Duskull. This was, I guess you could use it in Duskull decks, but I think the other Duskull from Secret Wonders is better, so you can evolve quickly into the stage 1. But yeah, I decided to pick on this, you know, Stormfront. That's where the Charizards are too. And they were different type of shinies. You know, they were reverse. They looked like normal cards beside that. So yeah, pretty cool. And then of course we gotta have some level X's and some owners Pokemon. So I decided to do Dialga G level X and Palkia G level X. Both of these cards were very popular and very powerful during the DP era. And in the case of Dialga, even going on to the Heart Gold era, Heart Gold Soul Silver era, this card was very powerful. And including these cards, you sort of include Cyrus, even though I ended up including Cyrus's Conspiracy here anyway. But you get the Gen 4, you know, version legendaries Dialga and Palkia from Diamond and Pearl. They're SP Pokemon too. They're, you know, G Galactic Pokemon. So they kill a lot of birds with just 2 stones. So gotta have these. And then Cyrus's Conspiracy similar to what I said with Cynthia and Steven. This is a very popular supporter card from that era. You gotta have it in a speed decks. 3 to 4 copies depending on how your SP deck is. And most people would run 400%, but great supporter card. It's Cyrus. You know, it's a part of the SP engine, so I picked this card. Gotta have some regular level X's too. I decided to go with this Flygon level X, iconic from the era once again. Powerful, wind erosion, deck out effect, extreme attack. It did a lot of damage, could kill level X's. I think it's a very iconic level X. So I picked this, and then I did a few more. You gotta have Luxray and Garchomp. Once again, these were included in the Celebration set. They were very good, decisions for cards to reprint in that set. You could build like a Luxray deck easier. Got these around. It's the type of duo similar to Meta Knight, you could say, but this deck was a lot more dominant than Meta Knight. This was like too good for back then. And then I really wanted to do Arceus level X too. Back then, when I did this sort of custom Celebration set and never really did anything with it, I didn't make a video, didn't do anything. This was before Arceus was getting all this love, with the Tag Team GXs, the Tag Team GX that was the most broken Pokemon card ever, and the V-Star, Arceus V-Star, and all the other great Arceus cards. Nobody was giving a damn. The designers weren't really giving a damn about Arceus. It was getting like no cards. This is like the original level X, the best one from the Arceus set. And very unique one with 2 Poke Bodies, no weakness. So I included it. It's a pretty looking card. Last DP card here. Now we got some hard gold representation. Donphan was in the Celebration set. Again, popular, powerful, prime Pokemon. And then I did Celebi too, because gotta have more than one prime, I think. So Celebi, you sort of, you get that Celebi in, we got Mew, and, Jirachi, and, these sort of, the event legendary small cutesy Pokemon. Celebi's for Gen 2, so I think you gotta have it the first 3 generations. I couldn't include Manaphy, I think, but, gotta have at least, Mew, Celebi, and Jirachi, right? So this is a prime, it's Celebi, so it makes for a good inclusion, good reprint. Then some Gen 5 Pokemon. I got the Zekrom and Reshiram full arts. These look really good. They were in the Celebration set as well. I'm glad they reprinted them. They made a lot of sense. Sort of the best versions for these broken legendaries at the time. Just basic Pokemon. It's the type of artwork that's like the video game artwork on the box, the video game DS boxes. Gotta have them. And then I did the Victini as well. I guess we got the Gen 5 Pixie too. But I put this Pokemon in for you to get like a holographic Gen 5 card that has the sort of Matrix holofoil pattern. It doesn't look here on the scan, but in real life, if you have the card, you know what I'm talking about. Victory Star 2 was used in some decks. It's Victini. You got the sort of Matrix background. So it's it has that Gen 5 theme going for it. So I wanted to include at least one type of card like this and did the Victini. Then we got Full Art N, represents Gen 5. Once again, is like the, after Rocket's admin, it was N. Represents Gen 5 and the important character from that time in the story, in the games. Gotta have him. Then gotta have your new EXs from Gen 5. The basic big EXs that were so dominant. Got Mewtwo EX here. And I also doing Darkrai too. Was the rivalry with these cards in the beginning. When these basic EXs first debuted, it was all about this guy and then Darkrai, for sure. This is a very expensive card right now too, I'm sure. It's full art. It's Darkrai. I don't think anybody would complain. I'm including a card like this here. Representing the A-Specs, I got the Computer Search, the best and most general A-Spec card. I mean, this is the type of A-Spec that in any deck you have it. It's good. Like, really. You get any card, you discard 2 cards. It's good. Instead of having something else, you gotta have the Computer Search. You know, the base set sort of vibe too, the original version. So Computer Search to represent the A-Specs, and then I also got some Team Plasma cards. Gotta have Chorus, once again, for a Team Plasma Full Art supporter card, one of the best supporter cards during the time too. And again, an important character from Gen 5 in terms of the story and games. Kyurem, a Team Plasma Pokemon. This was a very powerful basic Pokemon from the time. A Team Plasma Pokemon that's, you know, it's got the regular blue borders. It's not a full art, but I guess this guy has the borders too. Okay, and Genesect, whatever. But, you know, you got the... It's a regular plasma card, what I'm trying to say. Not a full art. You got the emblem. You got this powerful basic Pokemon. Kyurem, iconic once again. Gets represented from Gen 5. Legendary. So it was a good pick for me. Then I got the Golden Ultra Ball. This is to represent the Golden Secret Rares from Gen 5. Beautiful cards, very rare and expensive cards. And Ultra Ball, I think, made the most sense. Because this kind of can work also. It kind of just acts like an A-Spec in a way too. It's like Computer Search, but you only get a Pokemon. But it was still so good and so popular. Every time this card is around, it sees some type of play, if there isn't other better searches for it. It just can get you any Pokemon. So, Golden Ultra Ball. We got more Gold Ultra Ball versions now, but this is like the original. Gotta have it. Great reprint, you gotta admit. And then Genesect 2 represents some full art, you know, Team Plasma Pokemon. And Genesect was a very iconic and competitive Pokemon during the time. Very expensive card too. You could say, yeah, a full art Pokemon like this is gonna look different than a regular Pokemon or a trainer. And I decided to go with Genesect here. It's part of a Genesect Virizion too, Virizion Genesect from the time. And that's all with Gen 5. Then we gotta represent Gen 6. Gotta have Aromatisse. This is to represent the fairy Pokemon. Pokemon introducing the fairy type, even though they gave up on it later. I think it was a mistake. But yeah. And this was a very competitive card too. Move fairy energies around. Pretty good. So gotta have this. And doing the Xerneas too. Legendary duo from Gen 6. And then, you know, you gotta have Yveltal too if you can do Xerneas. But there's another fairy Pokemon. Gotta have a few fairy Pokemon to represent the new type. Then I'm doing the Team Flare, you know, Head Ringer. These are very, very unique cards. There's only 2 types of cards, and they were both in Phantom Forces. And both of them are extremely expensive now. If I had known how expensive these cards are, I would have bought a bunch of them where they were dirt cheap. Because they're holo, very bright holo cards with a red border. I think this is unique to these cards. You got this sort of a Team Flare stamp here over the text. They're very, very unique cards. There's only 2 cards like them, really. And it's kind of weird. They're basically Pokemon tools you equip on your opponent's Pokemon. So I wanted to include the Head Ringer. This is like the good one of the 2. The more broken one of the 2. And yeah, man. Represents this part of the era as well. Same with Lysander's Trump card. Man, when you think about it, I did so many Phantom Forces Pokemon. But Lysander's Trump card, again, it's sort of important character from Gen 6. This is a card that got banned. I mean, maybe deservingly so. Maybe it could have been kept around if Shaman EX only worked once per turn, or if that card got banned. But anyway, represented this dude. And then for a Mega Evolution, Mega Form Pokemon, I went with the Gengar here with the gold text. And yeah, this was like the first Mega Pokemon to get banned in the video games too, for Smogon. I used to call this thing God Killer because you could trap Arceus and kill him in Ubers. That's how broken Mega Gengar was, you know, with the Shadow Tag. Trapper. So yeah, represent some Mega Pokemon, and then you represent the Primal Pokemon, which is kind of a Mega variation. Gotta have your Kyogre and you gotta have your Groudon. Primal reversion. So in Celebrations, there was also Rayquaza, but I kind of dropped it. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I dropped it. We have these guys instead. Team Magma's Camerupt and Team Aqua's Sharpedo to represent this newer type of Team Magma, Team Aqua card from Double Crisis. These cards are very expensive too. Man, I wanted to get Double Crisis when it first came out, but I was really broke back then and I kept missing my chances. And by the time I thought, okay, I'm going to buy these were very expensive. It was too late. I kept forgetting about it, and then by the time I was going to go do it, it was too late. Anyway. Moving on to Gen 7, we got Lily here for the full art supporter here to represent a Gen 7 character. Lily, important card. This was a very unique supporter card too. Draw until you have 8. You play this card when you play first. It was one of my favorites. And then I decided to do, I mean, Lunala and Solgaleo, they're kind of not really legendaries. The game kind of explains it too in a way, and thank God for that. They don't, I thought these guys would represent the Alola region better. These guys definitely, you know, legendaries. They had a pretty cool aspect, a kind of hidden aspect in a way too, and Gen 7, as hidden as they could make them, to be honest. But yeah, they're definitely, they have a better air as legendary Pokemon, you know? Tapu Koko GX, Tapu Lele GX, Tapu Bulu GX, and Tapu Fini GX. So I decided to have them these full arts in. They got a bunch of different versions. And then I got Ditto here to represent the Star Pokemon, or Prism Pokemon actually, not Star. Ditto could have been any basic Pokemon. You could have like a 5th copy of a basic Pokemon to evolve a regular Pokemon, so I decided to put this in as opposed to something else. All the other Prism Pokemon that were legendaries. Ditto kind of stands out on his own. And then a few Tag Team GX Pokemon. As you guys can see, I don't have too many modern cards. I mostly wanted to give priority on old school cards. I don't really give a damn about new cards as much. And, you know, it's easier to get new cards, but it's borderline impossible to get cards like these. Like this card is, I think, 200 or 300 euros right now. It's just a regular holo in good condition. These cards are way too expensive. So you might as well have cards like these. You know you want to have something like this, right? As opposed to, I don't know, something like this. But I have the Tag Team GXs to represent the Tag Team GX Pokemon in the era. I did Latias and Latios. I think this is the most popular one. It's kind of funny. When this card first came out, I was immediately in love with it, no pun intended, because it's just a pretty romantic card. You know, Gen 3 is my favorite gen. You guys know I like my Latios and Latias. And it just looks cool. It looks beautiful. It's romantic. It's just pretty. It's like a lovely card. They make this sort of heart shape too. Siblings there. And I think it's the most expensive Tag Team GX card right now. People want to have it so bad from the tag teams. So I'm including this one. And then I'm doing another tag team, the Moltres Zapdos Articuno. This is for the, you know, triple Pokemon and artwork Tag Team GX. So I'm doing the bird trio. Makes sense, I think. And then for the VMAX stuff, I decided to pick on new VMAX. As much as I hate to admit it, this was a very broken deck during the time, was so dominant. It represents Fusion Strike as well, this sort of archetype Pokemon started to do with these types of cards. Well, they belong in archetypes now. I guess this was something with SP, but with this set, with like Rapid Strike and Single Strike and Fusion Strike, they were split between different groups. SPs, they were kind of all together in a way. And yeah, this was a very broken VMAX. Free retreat, and it didn't really have low HP for having free retreat. Broken ass attacks, broken ass support, everything about it was broken. And it remained dominant for as long as it was around. Like, it was so bad they made a specific darkness Pokemon to counter it, just that you kill it easily. Anyway, and then I'm doing a V-Star Pokemon, decided to do Arceus, is like the OG V-Star, and it was broken as well. Broken attack, broken ability, broken stats. And then for a Radiant Pokemon, Radiant Greninja from... Oh damn, I forgot the set. What the fuck was this set called? I don't remember. But anyway, your Radiant Pokemon, this was the most popular, discard energy draw too. Anyway, and this is my reasoning for why I included the cards in this Dream reprint set. Like, if they would do a 30th anniversary set, it has to be like 80 cards at least. You can't do like 20 cards or 30 cards. That's shit. That's probably what they're gonna do again though. Just reprint 30 cards. Make an 100 card set, goddammit. Or an 80 card set like I did here. That's what you should do. But anyway, this is my Dream 30th anniversary set. It should be all about reprints, just like what Yu-Gi-Oh does. Give us the chance to get old school cards. You know people want to collect these types of cards. You know they want to. Otherwise they wouldn't be expensive as fuck. You know people want to get Espeon Gold Star too, not just Umbreon. So you got to give us something like this. You can exclude cards like, you know, the stuff that was already in the 25th anniversary celebrations and include new cards. But yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can read the article where I pretty much say most of the same shit anyway. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, share the video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time. What a